fighter aircraft from the Philippine Air Force, PF, and the United States Air Force on Thursday conducted basic fighter maneuvers, BFM, over the skies of Basa Air Base, Florida Blanca, Pampanga, as part of the 2-week Cope Thunder Philippines CTPH 24-1. BFM refers to tactical maneuvers performed by fighter aircraft during air combat maneuvering to gain a positional advantage over opposing combat planes. Utilizing the PAF FA-50 and the USF F-16, the forces engaged in flight integration training aimed at enhancing pilot capabilities in aerial combat scenarios through tactical maneuvers and techniques, PAF spokesperson Colonel Ma Consuelo Castillo said in a statement. She said the BFM emphasizes collaborative learning and interoperability between the two air forces. Pilots engage in defensive and offensive maneuvers, such as basic fighter maneuvers, air combat maneuvers, and tactical intercepts, to sharpen their skills and enhance combat readiness, Castillo said. This edition of the CTPH 24-1, which runs, concentrates on subject matter expert exchanges and field exercises in air and ground operations. This includes logistics and mission support planning and execution, which are necessary in large force deployment. This will prepare the PAF in its anticipated participation in Pitch Black exercise in Australia. The exercise is part of the Mutual Defense Board and Security Engagement Board activities for this year, in order to share best practices during a bilateral air contingent exchange. U.S. airmen and members of the Philippine Air Force held a subject matter expert exchange at Cesar Basa Air Base, Philippines. U.S. Air Force F-16 Fighting Falcons at Cesar Basa Air Base, Philippines, to conduct an air defense mission designed to strengthen bilateral interoperability as well as the capabilities and cooperation built through decades of shared experience. After the U.S. Air Force F-16 Fighting Falcon landed at Cesar Basa Air Base, the U.S. Air Force F-16 Fighting Falcon took off at full speed. Having the F-16 fighter at Basa allowed us to interact with our Philippine Air Force partners, along with their FA-50s, and in turn, helped us strengthen our interoperability in training with a key partner, said Colonel Christopher Foro, BAC P-13 Expeditionary Air Squadron Commander. Through this engagement, our bilateral forces increased their interoperability, and our partners demonstrated that they are a disciplined, professional, and highly motivated force. In addition to interfleet training between the U.S. Air Force F-16s and the Philippine Air Force FA-50s, airmen conducted subject matter expert exchanges on topics to include crash recovery, communications, flight line, and maintenance backshop operations, concluding with a large force exercise on the last day. It's been terrific, said Lieutenant Colonel Tom Canoes, 121st Fighter Squadron pilot. As part of the bilateral engagement, we've really focused on the sharing of best practices. So whether it's our air-to-air and air-to-ground training with them as pilots, or also reaching out to their ground forces, their forward air controllers, to that cross-sharing of information across survival specialists or maintainers, that level of engagement is something we don't normally get in the international bilateral format, so it's really been wonderful. The Pentagon awarded a $32 million contract to upgrade an airfield in the Philippines as part of a broader U.S. program to upgrade and improve Manila's military bases, funded under the Pacific Deterrence Initiative, a plan to counter China throughout the Indo-Pacific through the construction of infrastructure and investment into regional partners. Basa Air Base is set to receive a 625,000 square foot parking apron capable of hosting up to 20 aircraft. The contract stated that the project aimed to strengthen the infrastructure at the base, which was deemed to be insufficient for training activities between the U.S. and Philippine forces. According to the award, Acciona CMS Philippines LLC prevailed over 4 other proposals for the construction of a parking apron, shoulders, and taxiway at Basa. Funding for the project comes from the Air Force's fiscal year 2021 and 2024 military construction budgets, coming in at $3.5 million and $29.4 million respectively. The award further added that the airfield upgrade is set to be completed by July 2026. This project is the latest in a long line of investments by the U.S. into the Philippine Air Force's primary airfield. traditionally home to the country's fighter squadrons. Bassa has been earmarked for numerous projects through the Enhanced Defense Cooperation Agreement, EDCA. The 2014 Defense Treaty permits the U.S. to access Philippine military bases for rotational troop deployments and the construction of facilities at Manila's discretion, originally covering 5 military bases across the Philippine archipelago. The agreement was expanded to 9 in 2023. Of the $82 million invested into EDCA sites between 2014 and 2023, $66 million has been used for projects at Bassa. These projects include a humanitarian assistance warehouse, runway renovation, and command facilities. USNI News previously reported that the Marine Corps deployed unarmed MQ-9 Reaper drones to Bassa to provide reconnaissance and surveillance in support of the development of intelligence sharing between U.S. and Philippine forces. While the number of drones deployed to Bassa was not specified, it should be noted that containers used to transport the drones can be seen behind the base's Air Defense Alert Command hangars via open-source imagery. Senior U.S. officials announced an additional $128 million in EDCA funding on top of a once-in-a-generation investment of $500 million in foreign military financing dedicated to the modernization of the armed forces of the Philippines and Philippine Coast Guard during last month's 2+2 ministerial dialogue in Manila. According to a statement, the new funding covers projects across 7 of the 9 total EDCA sites. Both countries have claimed that EDCA aids Philippine military modernization through the construction of new infrastructure and more training activities with U.S. forces. Investment in the bases has also stepped up in recent years amid increasing tensions between Manila and Beijing over disputes in the South China Sea, particularly around 2nd Thomas Shoal and the resupply of its Philippine Marine garrison.
That photo so many times in his career
I don't know what you're talking about.
that he's over it.